Welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined today by Mitchell.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. And today we are discussing a new edition, New Army. As it's no surprise to anyone, we're coming up to a new edition with the 500 Worlds and Maelstrom that they've recently talked about, and 500 Worlds just put on the shelves. So we're obviously coming into the end of an edition, and it's a really good time towards the tail of an edition to kind of tool up and get ready for the next one. So I'm starting a new army. I'm doing Space Marines. And
it's really weird that you've been in the hobby this long and don't have Space Marines. I'm gonna tell you.
I've been playing 40K since 3rd edition, and I've never owned a Space Marine army. I've owned weird Space Marines. Like I've had Grey Knights and Deathwing, but I've never had like just regular Space Marines.
Space Marines, got it.
So, and not only that, I'm going super vanilla and doing Ultramarines.
Oh my god! I knew I hated you.
I get to play with all the cool characters. Get Marnius Calgar.
Yeah, whatever.
And he's got a new model because of course he does.
Yeah, whatever.
And
Ultramarines are the only Marines that I dislike. The only ones.
I picked the one chapter out of the dozens.
Yeah, to be fair, you also like Dwarves and Nurgle, the two other things that I hate.
Mitchell is just not my friend.
I just don't like Kevin.
He just doesn't like me. That's okay. We're gonna get through this a-okay here.
Yeah, sure. Gotta share a screen with you.
Yeah, it sucks for me too. So is there any new plans that you have for the next edition? Any armies that you're planning on building?
So I already have 9 armies. So I'm not going to be getting any new ones.
Oh, okay.
But I am going to be focusing more on one of my more recent armies, which is Astra Militarum.
Nice.
I say they're recent, but I have over 2,000 points in them still. 2,040.
Wow.
And I have yet to play a game of Astra Militarum. I have played 3 or 4 games with them as Gene Stealer cults editions, but not actually Astra Militarum.
So not actually using them as Astra Militarum.
Yeah, as their intended purpose.
just Gene Stealer cults. Okay. Well, I mean.
So I'm going to focus on them and fill them out a little bit.
Okay.
Because if I put literally everything I have on the board, it's 2,040 points.
Okay. Well, I mean that's a good place to start from when looking at the new edition and like thinking about what it is that you'd want to build going forward.
Exactly.
So like one of the things that I think about having, like I said, I've been playing since 3rd edition, so I've been through quite a few edition changes in my time here.
Right.
And one of the things that I like to think about is, what is a good investment going into the next edition especially with a new army.
Yes.
Like I'm doing a Space Marines, and of course you're coming from a different perspective because you already own a bunch of Astra Militarum, so that it's gonna be a little bit different for you. Me, I've owned 0 Space Marines going into this endeavor. So like the things that I think about when I'm making purchases for the new edition are things that I know are going to be useful.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is looking at like what people expect out of the new edition. And right now for 11th, nobody really knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's actually pretty different that we know basically nothing about it. GW has not mentioned it once.
Like there's so many rumors that are so divergent. For instance, I've heard that it's going to be a pretty soft reset.
Yeah, that would make sense because we just had a hard reset with 10th.
Correct. But I've also heard it's going to be a really divergent and, big reset to address a lot of the issues that people are having on the match play side of things. So like, and either one of those are equally likely to be true.
Yeah.
I am putting more money on the soft reset just because I feel like that would probably upset a lot less people.
Yeah.
But but either way, making purchases that will and choices on how to spend your hobby time, because we all have limited hobby time, limited hobby dollars, choosing how to spend them in a way that is going to be profitable or, going to give you good returns going into the next edition.
Right.
For instance, like I'm picking up intercessors because
Sure.
that's going to be useful.
They're not going to squat intercessors.
Right.
They're always going to be like at least semi-playable.
But like things I'm not picking up, like I'm not picking up any Castaferum dreadnoughts. And
what's a Castaferum dreadnought?
That's the old dreadnought.
Oh.
Like,
like the
box dreadnought.
What is it called? It's called now Venerable Dread.
Yeah, no Vendreads, no Ironclads.
Yeah, not gonna pick up any tack squads.
No tack squads. No like old assault squads or anything like that. Terminators are fine, like because they
both sides just got a new refresh in this edition. So if they get rid of them in any way, or they could make them worse, but like I know you and I don't necessarily play for the meta.
It's like and to be clear, I'm not coming at this from a competitive standpoint because competitive 40K is constantly in flux, and there was just no way, like not even knowing anything about 11th, there's no way to know what to buy from a competitive standpoint.
Right.
And I'm not a super competitive player. I go to tournaments, but I'm not a very competitive player. I like to have fun and I like to be effective on the battlefield, but I'm not podiuming anytime soon. But anything that basically hasn't had, like for me, for Space Marines, anything that hasn't had a new kit in a long time, like, I'm looking at you Centurions. Even though Centurions right now are kind of in the meta.
Really?
Yes, because of the new detachment. The orbital strike force is made Centurions really, really spicy now. Trying to get those out of the warehouse.
I was gonna mention, when you said like things that you should prepare for, is the classic GW rubber banding effect.
Yep.
Where stuff that's currently really bad just like becomes good. Granted, if this is a soft reset, that is less likely for it to be an immediate change more when a book comes out. So for Space Marines, they're always the first book.
Right.
The first or second book, because they're in the starter box. They always get it.
Right.
But like, if you're not Space Marines or whoever they pick to be in the starter set, who knows when you're going to get your stuff? Right. So that could be like set up for a while kind of thing.
And so, especially if you're starting a new army like I am, really just getting a core of units and making sure that you have like just the basic things that you need to like play the game and make sure that you're, like I said, intercessors, Redemptor Dreads, the Gladiator variants.
All the vehicles.
Yep. And like those things are all going to be good purchases, and taking the time to magnetize the vehicles, especially.
Oh yeah.
Like, and especially the new Space Marine tanks are super easy to magnetize.
We've mentioned it a couple times, but kudos to GW for actually making stuff easier to magnetize nowadays.
Right. Actually, I just assembled my Redemptor Dread, and I noticed like how really easy it is to because all the weapons are separate. Like nothing shares parts that you couldn't swap into like you can actually fiction fit the weapon.
Oh wow.
So
the artillery squad, the new Krieg artillery, it's literally just like two little U sections, and the gun just like goes in and out of that.
Oh, really?
Yep, no magnets required.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So like that's even better that you don't even have to put that extra work into that. But putting that extra effort into magnetizing stuff, like Intercessor are actually a really good example of that, because like right now all the bolt weapons are consolidated into one profile.
Right.
Who knows if that's going to be true in the next edition or not?
That's true. Now, to be fair with that, I wouldn't put the time and effort to betting something will change.
That's true. I agree
I would
with
put
that.
the time and effort, and then if it changes, dang it.
Right. And and to be fair, if you're a Space Marine player and you're panicking at the thought of like the bolt weapons becoming separate again, I don't think it's going to happen.
I also don't think.
Yeah, I think that would be a really dumb move. And I think the consolidation was a really smart thing.
Yeah, I think GW is kind of happy with the not paying for separate equipment type things, and I don't expect that to change.
No, I don't either. I think that that's just going to be kind of for the foreseeable future. Not paying for equipment is probably going to be, they're kind of moved that to Horus Heresy, and that's kind of where they're happy with that kind of crunch.
Yep.
And but looking at other things beyond Space Marines, though, like of course the prevalent rumor that I tend to believe is that it's going to be Space Marines and Orcs is going to be the starter set.
That would be cool.
And I think that'd be really cool. And actually, Orcs are a ton of fun. And I'm not going to collect Orcs because that's way too many models for me to, with my busy schedule, to actually try and get that army done and painted. But I feel like looking at Orcs as the other side of that, if they are the other part of the starter set, like, making sure like you got plenty of boys. I mean, I think that they really, GW, like, especially looking at how they treat Age of Sigmar, they are really trying to push armies into playing how you would imagine them in the lore.
Yes.
And like they're very much, they did that a lot with Age of Sigmar, and I think with 11th they're going to try and push that a little further and try and address a lot of the things that people are having with issues that they're having with match play. For instance, like the deadliness of the game, like the game is extraordinarily lethal right now.
Very lethal. In moving into 10th, they got rid of a lot of the like stacking I'm impossible to kill type things.
Right.
And they kept those gone, but also things are very, very, very killy.
Yeah, it's power armor feels kind of like paper mache right now.
It's crazy.
if you don't have an invulnerable save, you might as well not have a save at all. In a lot of cases, especially in a competitive environment, usually units just get deleted at whole. There's not a whole lot of attrition play.
Right.
So I think that GW is probably going to make a move to address that by bringing the lethality of the game down. So that's why my focus is going to be like getting core battle line units and, getting some blocks of intercessors, getting some terminators, maybe some, talk about your rubber banding thing. I think I'm going to pick up some Reavers.
Reavers?
Yes.
Reavers have literally never been good.
No.
Not once.
Nope.
It's got to happen eventually, right?
I mean, at some point, there's going to be enough of them in the warehouse that they're going to want to move them out.
They just keep making them in this.
Because the other side of Reavers, of course, is the Incursors and stuff, and those have always always had a place because they have infiltrate.
Incursors and infiltrators have always been at least fringe playable,
right?
But Reavers have just never. Their own separate box, never playable.
Nope. They've always been bad, and that's really a shame because I really like the models.
The models are great. I have the Space Wolf Reavers, the Hunter something. I don't remember the name of it.
I mean, you can make fun of them for looking like Call of Duty kids, but that it's cool. I don't care.
Were you a Call of Duty kid?
I'm not a Call of Duty kid. I play Battlefield.
I play Battlefield.
Yeah.
Game.
You know what? Enough of you. So I'm a dad. What can I say? I like to camp in a corner.
Yeah.
But regardless, so those are what I'm focusing on. Of course, picking up characters.
Sure.
Calgar is probably going to be always fine. Tigurius, who comes in the combat patrol, which actually that's a pretty good value for that combat patrol that he comes in. Getting Tigurius. Tigurius over the course of the many editions has been either good, bad. He's always fluctuated, but he just comes to combat patrol, and so it's a good value. Definitely not buying Centurions.
Nope.
As meta as they are right now, they're ugly models. I'm just gonna say that. That's my controversial. Very controversial.
That's your controversial take. Is Centurions are ugly? Gotcha.
I know. I'm really like throwing it out there.
Yep.
And
the hottest take I've heard all day.
Yep, I'm sure. But to talk about Astra Militarum, with you said you have a lot of Krieg.
Krieg is the thing that got me into it. I got the Krieg battle box, and I always loved how they looked. My brother-in-law, the one who taught me how to play the game, collected Krieg, but he didn't play them very much because they were Forge World and they're expensive.
Right.
And after the new stuff came out, I decided that I wanted to get into Astra Militarum, and it was a good reason because I already had Genestealer Cult. It was a good reason to get some Genestealer Cult.
Right, there's a lot of cross-play there.
Yeah, and then it turns out I really like a lot of the stuff. So I really like the tanks. I less like the units of 10 to 20 models. I have some Krieg and then the artillery and then the heavy weapon squad and that kind of thing. But I'm not going to flood the board. I like the individual things. So I am going to get what I like, which is tanks.
Tanks. I was about to say, I think that tanks would be a really good way for you to add on to that to really, lean more into the Astra Militarum side of things and the Genestealer Cult things. And, picking up Rogel Dorn, probably one or two Rogel Dorns.
So I have two Rogel Dorns already.
Oh, you do?
I think I will cap there.
I think that's smart.
It's the other tanks.
Oh, okay.
That I'm more interested in probably picking up. I only have two Layman Russ. Probably looking to get in a couple more, along with what's the big stupid? Not the Baneblade. The stupid. There's 40 tanks in that. I don't know why.
There's a lot of tanks. Are we talking the Shadow Sword?
Or... No, not that chassis.
Okay.
The other not the one. Is it the one with the big missile on it? Deathstrike?
Oh, Deathstrike missile? Yeah.
I think it might be that chassis.
Oh, yeah. It's a Manticore.
The Manticore. Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of, the Manticore. Yeah, I might pick up some of those. I don't really like the transports. I don't like the Chimera. Chimera's not.
But that being said, transports are always a good thing to pick up to have available. Because mechanized infantry has always kind of fluctuated from being good and bad.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about what I want and not what would be good. I'm sorry.
I'm talking to the viewers.
You're talking to the viewers. Well, you're talking about Space Marines. Something everybody already has anyway.
Except for me.
Except for you.
But yeah, but in general, yeah, because you already have a collection going, that those are the things that you want, and so that gives you more impetus to collect in that direction.
You don't have anything, so you're kind of getting the things that are basics.
Right.
Whereas I kind of already have the basics, and I'm like expanding on top of that.
Right. And for anyone out there that's preparing for the new edition, those are basically like the two situations you can be in with your army. Like I have Votan is one of my Votan and Death Guard are my other two 40K armies, and for Death Guard I own an embarrassing amount of Death Guard, and so I don't need to buy anything for Death Guard. I'm good there. For Votan, I could still pick up a few things,
especially since they just got some refresh stuff.
Right,
refresh, but a new wave.
Right, and they're coming out with with all the new detachments. I could use some more berserks because I only have 2 units of berserks right now. I'd really like to run the detachment that has multiple berserks. Now, who knows if that's going to be a thing and going into the new edition or not?
Yeah.
But having that option, and because I already have a huge collection of painted Votan, I can just add a unit of berserks, and it's not that big of a hassle for me. Going into the new edition, once again, there's so many things that are up in the air with it. Like I have heard so many divergent rumors, and going back to that discussion about what we expect out of 11th edition is, one of the things I've heard is like ranges of weapons are going down.
Okay.
And like severe changes to how reserves and deep strikes and stuff like that work. And
so the editions have 2 different options.
Right.
It is the full reset like we saw with 10th edition, stat lines changed and everything got messed up. And then there's the 8th to 9th edition, which is more of a cleanup, but also it has to be a severe enough change to require an edition.
That's
change.
true.
So lethality going down and that kind of thing, I would expect to see an over time, especially if we're not doing an index reset.
Sure.
I'm expecting some kind of list building change for something that makes a big enough difference, or a stat. That wouldn't be a stat line change because that would be. So it'd have to be something list building, something that's not in the book. But the detachments are in the book.
It's big enough to
It's big enough to require an edition change, but not big enough to reset the books.
Right.
It's a weird balance.
Because they did a good job between 9th and 10th of reducing the rules bloat that you have, the rules that you have to have available at the table to play with your army. They did a good job of reducing that. But I think the big issues that people are having with the game right now are purely mechanical.
Yeah.
With, and mostly to do with just the stats and
rerolls.
Yeah. There's, they said they were removing a lot of rerolls at the start of the edition. And then what does pretty much every detachment have you doing? Rerolling something.
Or everything.
Or everything. Space Marines get to reroll a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And, but that being said, I hope they, once again, take a page out of Sigmar's book. I know a lot of people are going to be really upset about me saying stuff like that because there's a big divide between people who like Age of Sigmar and 40K for some reason. You don't have to. You can like both. It's okay. But I would like for them to see a battalion style like Age of Sigmar has, for instance, where you have a character and then they have units under them and then they just deploy together.
Yeah.
And I think that would make deployment a lot faster.
True.
But that's all wish listing stuff. That's all things that I've heard. It doesn't necessarily help you prepare for the new edition because you don't know what's coming.
Yeah. And it's just a guess shot in the dark.
And it really is, which is why, like I said, for Space Marines and really any army that, if you don't have, I'll think about Drukhari, for instance. I have a friend that is kind of getting restarted and playing Drukhari. And so they'll just pick up, the transports. I mean, you're always going to want the transports and a bunch of Cabalites and, maybe not, not presently. You don't want Cabalites because I don't think people like those right now. But
I have no idea what's popular in Drukhari.
I mean, Drukhari, they occupy that weird space where they're either really, really good or they're not good.
They're also the most recent book. So.
That's true. So we also don't know what people are doing. There's always hobby lag that comes with that. And speaking of hobby lag, this is one of the ways to get kind of ahead of hobby lag is to collect and paint ahead of a big edition change.
Exactly.
So for me, collecting Space Marines, I know that my book is going to be coming out real fast.
Oh yeah.
And so
that book you bought, gone.
Yeah, I know. I just bought this book 2 months ago, knowing that
this was a conscious choice.
Yeah, this was but being able to kind of look at and see what direction it is the army is going, and being able to paint ahead of that, like getting the basics done, like getting a couple of Redemptor Dreads done, getting a couple transports done, getting some intercessors done, and getting some characters done. And from there, once the edition drops, then I can make some more pointed decisions based on what I would like to collect.
Even like as we get closer and learn more, not even like straight up on the day. It's like once we know what's in the box or the things that are changing when they announce some stuff at Adepticon or whatever. Like it any bit of information will help, but it's going into it with nothing is the question mark.
Right. Yeah. And so like once we're gonna probably see at Adepticon, so late March, we're gonna see what is in the starter box, almost certainly. Yeah. And from there, you're going to get a pretty good idea of like, for Space Marines, what to expect. Like there's probably going to be a new unit of some kind.
Oh yeah.
And
usually there's a couple new.
Some new closely named to another unit that,
I was going to say interceptors. That's still
that's
an actual unit.
Yeah,
still.
it is. Yeah. Inceptors I don't know. They're going to come up with something that rhymes or is alliterative to something else. And for orcs, they could come up with anything. Like Give
us the giant squigoth and the.
I mean, that would be so cool if they because they did the whole thing with the beast nagas and all the squig beasts and stuff, and then the giant squigoth is just back in Legends. They could do a big giant squigoth plastic kit.
That's true. They haven't done anything like, okay, well, now that we're in 500 Worlds, they have, but they haven't really done anything like huge in 40K. The whole edition.
No.
If you think about it, it's mostly been like single characters model, like 3 model units or whatever.
Right.
Now they're doing like, the Catan Shard and the kind of the big stuff.
Titus and his friends.
Titus and friends. The 2 new Tau battle suits, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. The Polycule.
There's only 2 of them.
Josh started that.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
Or I think it's maybe started in Discord first, but regardless. But yeah, it is kind of funny because you're right. They are making all the big like lore and model moves at the end of the edition now.
Whereas the book is kind of, well, especially for this edition, because this edition was, the book is brand new and it's from the index. So it is kind of the only book. Whereas next edition, if there isn't an index reset, we have the old book until the new one comes out.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an index reset for 11th.
I sincerely hope it is not.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat. That they're hoping that it isn't.
Unless all the rules are then online for free forever.
I would welcome it at that point.
Yep.
That would be fine. I could throw this out and feel good about myself in that case. I'm probably going to have to do that anyway. Yeah. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of reason going forward for being able to just like for you being able to. Well, I'm talking about paint, but
especially the amount of models that I have to paint. I want to paint stuff. Krieg looks interesting.
And actually, Krieg is pretty like. Not to say that you don't like paint or anything like that, but Krieg is a pretty friendly paint scheme to pursue, and it doesn't require a whole lot to make it look really good. Yeah, which is good because you have a lot of models. Space Marines, part of why I picked them is because I have a limited amount of time, and so I don't need a whole lot of models to actually play the game. True. And so, like for me, I have a personal rule that I don't play with anything unless it's painted. So if I was to choose orcs, I'd never get to play.
No.
So, but. So you're looking at getting some Lehman Russes.
Yep, looking at picking up a few more things to like have some choice when I play a game, and then start painting. Yeah,
and looking at like my other armies. So like for Death Guard, I already talked about like there's not a whole lot that I need for Votan. It's really going to come down to what the rules look like. Yeah. Like I kind of own a little bit of everything in Votan and just a couple things. So it'll be just kind of micro adjustments depending on where the rules kind of land for them.
And we are Space Marines and Astra Militarum are very large armies.
Yes,
like
they have
a lot of stuff. If you're going for like some of the smaller ones, like Votan, World Eaters, Emperor's
Children, you don't have
Children,
a whole lot to choose from.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good point too. Is that if you're picking an army like World Eaters, the World Eaters is a really good example of that. Like there's 20 data sheets.
Yeah, something like that.
And so like you can just buy whatever you feel like. It doesn't really matter. Like It's fine. But definitely, like, also a really good opportunity, and it really sings to me because, like, I'm more of a narrative player than a competitive player. Is I get to buy kind of whatever I feel like looks and feels cool without needing to worry about, well, is this ever going to see the table?
Yeah, I feel like this entire video is not for like high competitive win at all costs.
And honestly, if you're a high competitive player, this is not advice that you are looking for anyway. I mean, you probably own everything that you would need anyway if you're a super competitive player. But for us more filthy casuals, like this is, I think that, you know, for a new army to basically to sum it all up, for a new army, restricting your purchases to just the basics of like the blocks of core infantry, the blocks of, you know, a couple transports, a couple tanks, some support pieces, and definitely characters, is a good time to grab these before they get repackaged and the prices also go up alongside. I mean,
that's true. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Especially for some of the whatever the starter armies are,
right?
Like Space Marines, it'll happen basically immediately.
Right. So, and then for people who are just looking to build onto a collection they already have, prepping for the new edition, like you just kind of get to like do whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
And so that's also really cool, and you don't have to worry about, you know, if I'm buying a Lehman Russ Demolisher, is that meta right now? Doesn't matter.
Nah, I don't care.
And so in essence, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here is just, you know, with the new edition in mind, kind of gives you a little bit more freedom to pursue the army and, you know, not worry too much about it. Sometimes you can get a little bit of analysis paralysis and like decision paralysis of like, you know, what do I want to buy next? Because, you know, everything costs $60 basically, or more. And so, you know, being able to just kind of like, I kind of look like, unless you're gonna buy Centurions, don't buy Centurions.
No, if you like the look of Centurions, buy all of them.
Well, I mean, right now, yeah, and play them because they're great right now. If you want to deep strike them, and that's what people are doing, and then they can shoot characters out of units, and that's what they do now. So it's great.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, it's how you and your opponent have a great time is by removing all their toys. So, I mean, it is called Warhammer, not Friendhammer.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have any final thoughts about prepping for a new edition? And
no, I think the sum up was pretty good. It's get what you like, but be mindful of what could happen and prepare for either getting the stuff that probably won't go away and will always be useful,
right?
Or just get what you think looks cool,
right? And just like be wary of things that haven't had a refresh in a long time, because that may go to Legends.
Anything that basically just had something come out is pretty safe.
Yep. I think that's really, I mean, you know, like I hate to just say buy new product, but that's, you know, kind of
GW, we're not a shill yet.
If they start sending you free stuff.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, yeah, I think that until we know more about the new edition, like this is really like the basics of what you would need to know, like trying to prepare for that.
The world is your oyster.
It is right now. Go and pursue it.
Go and pursue the world.
Don't hold yourself back.
Yeah. Buy your fun toys.
Thank you for joining us here on Miniatures Rundown. If you liked what you see here and you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Woo. Our Discord link is in the description down below if you want to come chat with us on our Discord.
Bye.
Bye.